What's good, YouTube? Back at it again with another video. This is just gonna be a quick, short, sweet, and to the point type review video on the NASCAR Watkins Glen race that just happened yesterday afternoon. Um, this is a good race overall from the standpoint. He has some good racing for the most part throughout this entire race. I thought this was like a 6 out of 10 type rating race. Nothing too crazy, but nothing boring. It was a pretty entertaining race from start to finish. Um, a lot of tire wear fall off. Obviously, Shane Van Gisbergen basically made this race really entertaining with his incredible drive. This dude's race craft and driving ability is just out of this world. You know, being able to kind of get screwed over by his crew chief, to be honest, in terms of the strategy call that they made by staying out late in that race and basically putting him in a position where he was going to be on full offensive go mode, but he had a lot of time to make up. Making up 29 seconds in the span of like 20 laps, just unheard of type ability right there. I mean, I'd have to really go back into the annals of NASCAR to think of another finish that was quite incredible where a guy made up that much time and was able to win a race, even with having a tire discrepancy and stuff like that. But all in all, he showed why he is considered in most people's eyes, even to this point now, probably the best road course racer on the circuit and probably the best road course racer that's ever stepped foot in NASCAR. I still think he got some work to do in terms of what he needs to accomplish as a road course racer going forward to really cement that title. He's still in the moment and still racing, so I'm sure even in his eyes, based on what he said in press conferences and things like that in the past, that he wants to just continue racing and, soak in all of his accomplishments when his career is over with. But overall, throughout this race, it was a good race, like I said. McDowell had a good car. Connor Zillage, his teammate, Trackhouse teammate, and SVG, he to me was probably the closest guy to anybody in the field that really had something for Shane, or at least could stay with him. I know Shane was managing. That's what makes him so ridiculous, that he was managing throughout the entire race. I thought he was pushing us pretty hard, but we didn't really get to see that until the start of stage 3 when he was on that strategy car that he was on. You saw him really start to open up his lead and really show what he really had when he maxed out. So, but like I said, Connor Zillage, he was able to stay with him pretty much throughout the entirety of the when he got up there in terms of the second stage and onward, before he had his troubles, obviously with the right front going down and him having a poor finish because of that. Obviously the wasn't that many cautions. The cautions kind of fell at weird times throughout the race. One of the last caution that they had kind of fell with about, it was a weird time for it to fall, to be honest. It may put everybody in a bind whether they would stay out or pit. And obviously, Reddick and Shane and some guys that had pitted earlier were able to stay out, but they had to pit later on. But they basically put the two groups of cars into different categories. One was going to try to save their tires and save their fuel and stay up and keep track position, while putting the guys like SVG in a position to play offense. So strategy aspect of this race was pretty good. Like I said, towards the back end, but it's just because of the cautions falling the way they fell. So, overall from a team aspect, Trackhouse came here and did what they had to do in terms of getting a win. They accomplished that goal. Obviously, Spire showed up. And McDowell, they've always shown a lot of speed on road courses, and overall this year they've been really good on overall speed. Ty Gibbs able to come home third. Briscoe came in with a solid fourth, and Reddick, once again, the guy who's been probably the best driver on the circuit all year long overall, he still finds his way to get a top 5 finish and extend his points lead. So, in RCR, nobody's really been talking about them. Obviously, they've had a lot of struggles all season long. They haven't really had the pace that they wanted coming out the gate, and they really struggled, obviously, with a lot of the issues that Kyle Busch has had over the past few months and stuff like that, squandering away some good finishes. But he was able to get 8th, and Dylan surprisingly was able to get a top 6. So RCR showed up with some speed, stuck to their strategy, and was able to come home and get a great finish that they desperately needed. So Hopefully that kickstarts some good things for RCR going forward. I doubt it, but hopefully going forward they'll be able to continue the momentum they got coming out of this week. You know, John Hunter Nemechek, a guy I really seen was fast in practice, but I really wasn't sure about him going into this race, whether he was going to be able to get through the traffic and stay clean. But he did a good job coming on with a top 10, much needed top 10 for him. A lot of the heavy hitters like Denny Hamlin and, you know, Kyle Larson and those guys, they struggled. They had some issues, you know, and ended up not really having good days, especially HMS as a whole. Chase Elliott, Bowman, Larson, they all struggled. And Byron had a top 10 car, but ended up getting caught up in that one big wreck that they had throughout the entirety of the race. Basically squandered his chances of having a good finish, and he ended up finishing pretty poor. Logano had trouble. Joey Logano once again having another piss poor week, and probably having the worst season of his career since his rookie season in NASCAR. So hopefully, as a whole, in Penske, they're able to figure some stuff out when they come to this little break they have going through the All-Star races, so that maybe they can figure some things out and change their program up a little bit, do some tweaks, because they definitely need it. But like I said, overall, this race was pretty good. I say if Shane probably wasn't in it probably would have been a more entertaining race, just based off of the fact that more people would have had a chance to win. But, you know, Shane, he showed how great of a driver he truly is right there, and showed a lot of racecraft right there and what he was able to accomplish with that. He's just so good at these types of road courses. You know, he just under braking, getting through that carousel. He's a beast, man. But series shifts over, I think, to Dover and going to the All-Star break and stuff like that. I will have a video coming out probably soon, maybe within a week or so, possibly about my overall thoughts of this year so far in a more developed type video and more extensive video in general, just about the 3 series in NASCAR and also in Cup Series, and what I think are some surprises, who was disappointing, you know, who stepped up and performed well beyond expectations, what I thought that they would perform, and just in general about how the sport is going in terms of everything. So be on the lookout for that video. You guys take it easy. This was, like I said, a 6 out of 10 type race. Could have been better, but it could have been worse as well. We'll see what happens going forward. Definitely been a very interesting season so far, and it would not shock me if it gets more and more wild as the season goes on. But thank you guys all for watching, and as I always say in my videos, until we meet again,